Good day, everybody, and welcome to the OniOfTaint channel. How are you all doing today? Good? As you've probably noticed by now, I've shaved so I look like a newborn baby, and I'm wearing my hat, which I do not wear enough. And I'm wearing my nice Only Fools and Horses robe because it is cold! So, what is this? This is the continuation of the Folklore and Mythologies episode that I did yesterday. I got some positive feedback about it, and I'm going to try and be a bit more informative in this episode. So, the first creature we are going to talk about should be appearing here, and it is possibly one of the freakiest guys on this list. It is known as the Skinwalker in Native American lore. And the Skinwalker is kind of what you'd expect it to be. It's someone walking around in skin, only the skin happens to belong to an animal. Let me give you some context. The Skinwalker in the lore, from what I have researched, appears to be a person, either male or female, with the supernatural ability to shapeshift into whatever animal he or she so desires. However, in some variations of the story, the Skinwalker needs to wear the pelt of the animal he or she wishes to transform into. Now, I am no expert on shapeshifting, considering I'm not a Skinwalker, I swear, but I must wonder if the Skinwalkers really did exist. And you never know, they might do. Or they might have, I don't know. What would shifting between human and animal have on... What sort of effect would that have on the Skinwalker's mental psyche? Because I can't imagine it would have been good. And ultimately, I don't know what would happen when the Skinwalker was in his or her animal form. I mean, did they still have control? Did they have partial control? Were they bestial? Were they feral? It's kind of creepy and a little bit scary when you think about it. I mean, let's face it, this is something that, if possible, the Skinwalker could kill you. Go all Predator style and skin you alive, or dead, whichever way you want to go. Wear your skin and become you. That would be the literal personification of a body snatcher. I don't even care. Pod people be damned. The Skinwalker is the real body snatcher. Aren't I just a delight to talk to about this topic? Okay, so what's next? What's next to incorporate after the Skinwalker? Well, how about a creature that possesses someone after they've eaten the flesh of another human to survive? I'm talking about the Wendigo. Now, the Wendigo, from the research I've done, is a Native American creature, or spirit. I keep getting the two confused, I apologize. In Native American lore, the Wendigo possesses someone when they are pushed to the very limits of survival in a blizzard, trapped within the blizzard with no way of survival. They then consume the flesh of a fellow human being to survive, becoming cannibalistic. It is during this that the Wendigo possesses them. And a picture of the Wendigo, or at least a close idea of what the Wendigo looks like, should appear here. Now, considering demonic possessions are something that are talked about often in religion and such, it raises... I keep wanting to stroke my beard. I don't have my beard anymore. It causes me to think that such an instinct to survive, pushed to the very limits of survival, to consume fellow human flesh as a source of nourishment to survive, you then could become possessed by this feral beast of a creature. And I don't know how to describe it. It would be terrible to think about it. And I watched something on this. It wasn't Charmed and it wasn't Supernatural. I'm trying to think what it was. And the father got lost in the mountains in a blizzard, and he had to consume flesh to survive. And such, he became a Wendigo. Well, he didn't become a Wendigo, he became possessed by a Wendigo. And over the course of the story, he started to eat the horses, he became extremely aggressive, he became pale, almost greyish, he became very, very thin, almost bony, almost as if he didn't have any meat inside him. Now, personally, I don't know if that's just the media's representation of a Wendigo, whether it was just trying to add a more horrific horror spin on the lore. But I would not like to have a cannibalistic feral creature possessing my body. But then again, after you've consumed the flesh of a fellow human being to survive, after you've been pushed to that brink, are you human or are you a beast? Food for thought there. Let me know what you think on that. So, we've had the Skinwalker, and we've had the Wendigo. So, what could be next? What could be next? Well, I'm gonna address something here, because I feel it needs to be addressed, but it's something I feel personally to me. Mythology and folklore and everything in modern media is never really portrayed as it's written. Like, take the 4 films, where at the end of Dark World, it seems as though, from what I can gather, I don't know, I could be completely wrong on the subject, but it seems as though Loki has killed Odin. Spoilers, apologies. Which kind of goes against the mythology. And I can forgive this on the sole reason it's Marvel's universe. I doubt they intended to follow the mythology to begin with. It's their universe, which I can forgive. And then we come to something that I consider a deal breaker, because anyone who knows me knows vampires are one of my favorite they're one of my favorite folklores, they're one of my favorite mythology creatures, they're one of my favorites. And I'm pretty sure you can guess where this is going. I watched the first Twilight film of the Twilight Saga, and before anyone says anything, I will admit the film was not that bad. It wasn't a bad film. I enjoyed watching the film. However, there's a certain line, in my mind, when you use lore, mythology, and so on in a movie or a game or anything. There's a certain line. You can make tweaks to it, you can change things around a bit. I mean, there's that rumor going around that apparently they're going to make Thor into a woman. Which, if I know the internet, someone is going to make a very dirty fanfic, and it's probably going to be me. No, I haven't written any in a while. Used to. Anyway. When you use mythology, lore, or folk tales in media, there's a certain line in my mind that you don't cross. And you can do what you like to the character, to the figure, in the mythologies and the folklores, to try and get them to suit the story, to suit the narrative. However, in a vampire film, bear in mind this is just from what I know, in a vampire film, there's so much you can do. However, making them sparkle in the sunlight, I think my dad put it best. Because when I told him about it, because I watched the movie on my own, when I told him about it, he put it as Dracula and Tinkerbell having a baby. That's what he described Edward as. He described Edward, the vampire, the main vampire of the series, as being the love child of Dracula and Tinkerbell. If you don't know who Tinkerbell is, then you obviously haven't watched Peter Pan. In which case, I feel sorry for you. And I burst out laughing because I thought that was downright hilarious. But that's generally how it seems to me. Because that's just a deal breaker to me. I mean, you can have daywalkers. You can have vampires who go around and walk during the day. That's been done before. But to make them sparkle, and I also heard from a friend of mine that apparently they're also made out of crystal, which would not really make them vampires now, would it? Of course, I'm not sure if that's true. I haven't watched the entire Twilight series, so I don't know if that's true or not. I'm kind of guessing no. But when I saw Edward sparkle in the sunlight, that was it. That was the turnoff for me from Twilight. And then we move on to the vampires. Not the vampires, sorry. We move on to the werewolves, who aren't really werewolves and aren't really lycans either. They're more or less skinwalkers now that I think about it. Jacob is a skinwalker. How freaky is that? Because werewolves, in the lore I know, require the moon to transform into their humanoid wolf form, whereas lycans can do it at will. And while Jacob and the others can do it at will, they don't turn into a humanoid hybrid type wolf. They literally turn into a wolf. That's not a werewolf. That's a skinwalker. I've just sold the theory, haven't I? Jacob's a skinwalker. God damn. Anyway. Sorry, I haven't had much sleep. I apologize for going on my little bit of a Twilight rant. It's something that's been boggling me. And while I don't hate the series, it's just not something I can get into because it just seems to almost disrespect the rich lore of these creatures. Fake or not, I don't know. Anyway, I feel like I've gotten completely off topic and I am really, really tired. So, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope I gave you some insight into 2 more folktale creatures, this time from Native Americans, the Skinwalker and the Wendigo. Hopefully, you've enjoyed yourselves. If not, then I apologize. But then again, you can't please everybody. So, from OniOfTaint, I bid you all take care, and sayonara.